Your mom sounds nice." "Yeah, she was." With those two simple words, Bluey confirmed what fans have suspected for years. Chilli's mother is dead, but the circumstances around her death have been shrouded in mystery. Until now. Today, I'm uncovering the truth behind what might be the most heartbreaking revelation in Bluey's universe: the mysterious death of Chilli's mother, and why it may not have been the accident everyone believes. Have you noticed the glaring absence in Bluey's family photos until season 3? For 2 whole seasons, there wasn't a single picture of Chilli's mother anywhere in the Healer house. Not one photo, not one mention, nothing, as if she never existed. And when Bluey finally sees a drawing of her grandmother in the episode Dragon, she doesn't even recognize her. "Who is that?" Bluey asks, completely unaware. "That's my mom, your grandma," Chilli responds. "Wow, she's beautiful," says Bluey. "Yeah, she was," Chilli answers in the past tense, confirming what fans have theorized for years. This isn't just a minor detail. It's a deliberate choice by the show's creators, leaving breadcrumbs for us to follow. Why would Chilli keep her mother's existence completely hidden from her children? What we're about to uncover suggests that the circumstances of Grandma Cattle's death may have been so traumatic that Chilli couldn't even bear to speak of her. But the evidence doesn't stop there. When we look closely at the episode Fairy Tale, we see young Chilli around age 10 meeting Bandit for the first time. Interestingly, adult Chilli says she has no memory of that happening, despite Bandit insisting they used to go on holidays to that caravan park all the time. "I've got no memory of that happening," Chilli insists. "We did used to go on holidays to that caravan park," Bandit replies, confused by her memory lapse. Memory loss is a common symptom of trauma and grief. Was this the same time period when Chilli's mother passed away? The timeline suggests something devastating happened when Chilli was around 10 years old, something so traumatic that it literally erased her memories from that period. What if Chilli's mother's death wasn't a peaceful, natural passing, but something far more sinister? The show has been laying the groundwork for this revelation all along. Let's piece together what we actually know about Grandma Cattle's death. There are 2 possible timelines, each with compelling evidence. The first one is when Chilli was a child, around age 10. In the episode Dragon, we see Chilli as a 7-year-old drawing horse with her mother watching over her. Her mother is clearly alive at this point, encouraging young Chilli. "Keep practicing, you'll get better. Just don't ever give up, Chilli." This beautiful moment shows that Grandma Cattle was alive when Chilli was 7. But by the time we see Chilli at around age 10 in Fairy Tale, something has changed dramatically. Chilli has no memory of this period, a classic sign of childhood trauma. Did Grandma Cattle die suddenly during this time, perhaps in circumstances too painful for Chilli to process? This would explain why adult Chilli completely blocked out these memories. Traumatic grief in childhood can literally rewire the brain, causing memory gaps as a protective mechanism. If Grandma Cattle died suddenly when Chilli was 10, it could explain why Chilli doesn't remember meeting Bandit during this exact same time period. Now, the second one is shortly before Bluey was born, when Chilli was an adult. But there's compelling evidence for a second, equally heartbreaking possibility. What if Grandma Cattle died when Chilli was already an adult, married to Bandit, and possibly even pregnant with Bluey, or about to be? In the episode Baby Race, we see Chilli struggling as a new mother. She seeks advice from everyone: doctors, books, Bandit's mother, and even her friend Bella. But noticeably, she never consults her own mother or even mentions her. For a new mother to not turn to her own mother during this challenging time speaks volumes. Even more tellingly, in Dragon, the final scene shows Chilli saying goodbye to a horse that clearly represents her mother's spirit. The horse sprouts angelic wings and flies away as Chilli makes peace with the fact that her mother can't come with them. "You're not coming, are you?" This powerful scene suggests that Grandma Cattle never got to meet Bluey and Bingo. She passed away before they were born. But here's where it gets dark. What if Grandma Cattle's death wasn't just before Bluey's birth, but caused something even more traumatic? In the episode The Show, we see what creator Joe Brum has confirmed represents a miscarriage, symbolized by a balloon popping. What if the shock and grief of losing her mother while pregnant actually caused Chilli to lose a baby? The timing is suspicious. The evidence suggests Grandma Cattle may have died suddenly when Chilli was pregnant, possibly with her first child. And the trauma was so severe, it may have contributed to a miscarriage. This would explain why the photos of Grandma Cattle only appear in Season 3, after Chilli has begun to heal through reconnecting with her sister Brandy. Let's dig deeper into both possibilities. The relationship between Chilli and her sister Brandy provides crucial evidence about what really happened to their mother. In Onesies, we learn that Brandy and Chilli had been estranged for 4 years, with Brandy finding it too painful to be around Chilli's family. "It's just hard seeing you all, you know," Brandy admits. "I know," Chilli responds, understanding her sister's pain. But why would seeing Chilli's family be so painful for Brandy? The answer likely lies in the timing of their mother's death. If Grandma Cattle died shortly before Bluey was born, both sisters would have been dealing with that grief simultaneously. Then, while Brandy was still grieving, Chilli went on to have not just one, but 2 daughters, creating a family that mirrored their own childhood, a mother and 2 daughters. We know from the family photos that appear in Season 3 that Brandy and Chilli were raised by their mother and father, just like Bluey and Bingo. For Brandy, who apparently wanted children but couldn't have them, watching her sister recreate their childhood family would be unbearably painful, especially after losing their mother. "Why can't she just have the things she wants?" Bluey asks. "Because it's not meant to be," Chilli explains, hinting at Brandy's inability to have children. This connection is crucial. If Grandma Cattle's death happened right before Bluey was born, it explains why Brandy couldn't bear to be around Chilli's family. It wasn't just about Brandy's inability to have children, it was about the double trauma of losing her mother and then watching her sister create a mirror image of their own childhood family without their mother present to see it. But there's an even darker possibility. What if the grief and trauma of losing their mother affected both sisters physiologically? We know that extreme stress and grief can cause hormonal imbalances that affect fertility and pregnancy. What if Brandy's inability to have children and Chilli's possible miscarriage were both consequences of the trauma they experienced from their mother's sudden death? This brings us to a shocking possibility. What if Grandma Cattle's death was due to a medical condition that could have been prevented? The evidence points toward this being a possibility. In Granddad, we see Chilli extremely worried about her father's health. She's almost obsessively concerned that he's not taking care of himself after having heartworm. "I'm his daughter. He should take care of himself for me because I still need him." This level of anxiety suggests trauma from a previous sudden loss, possibly her mother dying from a medical condition that wasn't properly addressed or came on suddenly. The fear of losing her remaining parent is palpable. Several fan theories suggest that Grandma Cattle might have died from cancer or a sudden condition like a heart attack or aneurysm. The evidence supports this, particularly when we look at how her death is symbolized in Dragon. The horse, representing her mother, peacefully flies away, suggesting a peaceful but final departure. This aligns with a medical condition rather than an accident. If Grandma Cattle died from an undiagnosed or rapidly progressing condition, it would explain Chilli's heightened anxiety about her father's health. It would explain why the death feels like it wasn't meant to be, because perhaps with better medical attention or earlier diagnosis, it could have been prevented. This theory is further supported by the fact that Joe Brum, Bluey's creator, has mentioned that Chilli is charting her own course as a mom because she was on her own. Mum wasn't around. This suggests that Grandma Cattle's absence has profoundly shaped Chilli's approach to motherhood, perhaps because she's determined not to leave her own children the way her mother unintentionally left her. Now, let's examine what might be the most revealing clue of all: the connection between Grandma Cattle and horses. In Season 3, we finally see photos of Grandma Cattle, and one shows her riding a horse. In Dragon, young Chilli is drawing horses, seemingly trying to connect with her mother through this shared interest. The horse becomes a powerful symbol throughout the episode, ultimately representing Grandma Cattle's spirit at the end. What if horses weren't just a hobby, but central to how Grandma Cattle died? Horseback riding accidents can be suddenly devastating, especially if medical help isn't immediately available. This would explain the sudden nature of her death, the profound trauma it caused Chilli, and why horses became such a powerful symbol in Chilli's memory of her mother. The way Chilli draws her mother in Dragon is telling. She's drawn in the same position as she appears in the horseback photo. What if this was the last image Chilli had of her mother, happily riding a horse before a tragic accident changed everything? This theory would explain why Chilli has such complex emotions around horses. On one hand, they represent her connection to her mother and happy memories of her alive. On the other hand, they could represent the vehicle of her mother's demise. No wonder Chilli kept these memories locked away for so long. They're both precious and painful. If Grandma Cattle died in a horseback riding accident, it would truly be a case where her death wasn't an accident, in the sense that it could have been prevented with proper safety measures or quicker medical response. This would explain Chilli's protective nature with her own children, and her insistence that her father take better care of his health. The emotional journey of healing from Grandma Cattle's death forms a crucial arc throughout the series, culminating in Season 3. At the beginning of the series, Chilli doesn't display any photos of her mother or family of origin. She barely mentions her mother to her children. This suggests she was still deep in the grieving process, unable to integrate her mother's memory into her daily life. The turning point comes between Seasons 2 and 3, in Bluey's big play, when Chilli takes the courageous step to reconnect with her estranged sister, Brandy. This reconciliation doesn't just heal the sisters' relationship, it appears to heal something in Chilli's relationship with her deceased mother as well. When Season 3 begins, suddenly, photos of Grandma Cattle appear in the healer house. Chilli is beginning to bring her mother's memory back into her life. By onesies, she's able to share happy memories of her mother with her children. Me and my sister Brandy made this dance up for our mom's birthday when we were kids. And finally, in Dragon, Chilli is ready to fully introduce her mother to Bluey through stories and drawings, culminating in the beautiful goodbye scene where she finally makes peace with her loss. This healing journey suggests that whatever happened to Grandma Cattle was so traumatic that it took Chilli years, possibly decades, to process. The fact that she only begins this integration after reconnecting with her sister indicates that both daughters needed each other to fully heal from their mother's untimely death. One of the darkest theories, but one supported by evidence, connects Grandma Cattle's death directly to Chilli's miscarriage. In the show, Bluey and Bingo perform a play about how babies are made. In one scene, a balloon representing a baby suddenly pops. Joe Brum, Bluey's creator, has confirmed this represents a miscarriage that Chilli experienced before Bluey was born. Medical research has established that extreme stress and trauma can increase the risk of pregnancy complications, including miscarriage. If Grandma Cattle died suddenly while Chilli was pregnant with her first child, the shock and grief could have potentially contributed to her losing that pregnancy. This creates a heartbreaking domino effect. Grandma Cattle dies unexpectedly, causing extreme grief that potentially contributes to Chilli's miscarriage. This double loss would be devastating and might explain why Chilli kept her mother's memory locked away for so long. It was connected to two profound losses, not just one. When we look at Chilli in Dragon, she draws herself with a specific hairstyle, a side tuft with no gray hairs. This is the exact same look she has in her wedding photo with Bandit, as seen in Puppets. This suggests she's picturing herself around the time she got married, which could align with when her mother passed away. Yeah, I had a big wedding, and then Chilli had a baby in her belly, eh? If Grandma Cattle died shortly after Chilli's wedding, possibly while Chilli was pregnant with her first child, who she then lost, it would explain the profound connection between these events in Chilli's mind. When we piece all this evidence together, a heartbreaking picture emerges that explains not just when Grandma Cattle died, but possibly how and the profound impact it had on the entire family. Grandma Cattle likely died shortly after Chilli's wedding to Bandit, possibly while Chilli was pregnant with her first child. Cause of death. While never explicitly stated, the evidence points toward either a sudden medical condition, like heart attack or cancer, or potentially a horseback riding accident. The horse symbolism throughout Dragon strongly suggests the latter. Impact her death caused profound grief for both Chilli and Brandy. For Chilli, this grief may have contributed to the miscarriage of her first pregnancy. The double trauma of losing both her mother and her first baby caused Chilli to lock away memories and photos of her mother until she began healing years later. For Brandy, the tragedy potentially contributed to her inability to have children, and watching her sister go on to create a family that mirrored their childhood was too painful to bear, causing a 4-year estrangement. The healing process only began when the sisters reconnected, allowing Chilli to finally start integrating her mother's memory into her life and sharing those memories with her children. Joe Brum, the creator of Bluey, has dropped several hints that support this theory. Chilli was on her own, Mom wasn't around, and that was how my dad grew up. His dad died quite young. He did chart his own course with being a dad because he just didn't have an example there. And so to me, that's sort of what Chilli's character is. To a certain extent, she is charting her own course as a mom. This quote from Joe Brum on the Behind Bluey podcast reveals that Chilli's character was intentionally crafted to reflect the experience of losing a parent at a formative time. Brum also mentions that the Dragon episode addresses the last piece of the puzzle about the healer family, confirming that Grandma Cattle's absence is an intentional, significant part of the story. The fact that Kate Miller-Heidke was cast to voice Grandma Cattle also speaks volumes. Miller-Heidke is known for her emotional performances, and her brief but powerful delivery of Grandma Cattle's lines creates an immediate emotional connection with the character, making her absence all the more poignant. The deliberate choice to reveal Grandma Cattle in an episode about dragons is also significant. Dragons often symbolize both destruction and rebirth in mythology, perfectly capturing the cycle of loss and healing that Chilli experiences. This theory isn't just about uncovering a dark backstory. It fundamentally changes how we view Chilli as a character and mother. Chilli's parenting approach is shaped by her loss. Her gentle encouragement of Bluey and Bingo mirrors how her own mother encouraged her. Her determination to be present for every moment of her children's lives stems from knowing her mother missed so much of hers. The fact that she eventually brings her mother's memory back into her life shows incredible strength and emotional growth. Rather than keeping her pain locked away forever, she chooses to share her mother with her children, ensuring Grandma Cattle lives on through stories and memories. This adds layers of depth to scenes like an obstacle course, where Chilli teaches Bluey about persistence, using the exact same message her mother once gave her. Keep practicing, you'll get better. Just don't ever give up. In this moment, Grandma Cattle's wisdom lives on through Chilli, creating a beautiful continuity across generations that transcends death. What do you think about this theory? Do you believe Grandma Cattle's death was truly an accident, or was there something more to it? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and do watch our video about the secret behind Bandit's cheating scandal.